Hey there, it's Jessie here. Welcome to the channel. A very big warm welcome. If you're coming back, you know that I love you. And if you're completely new and you clicked on my face, the universe has brought us together. Why? How? For what? Well, there's only one way to find out. Right, guys, just letting you know that I'm here and I'm alive, and I just sincerely hope you're well. Don't really have much to say today. Deciding to give myself some time off analyzing and trying to figure out the mystery, the great mystery that we find ourselves in. And I just feel like taking it a bit slow. I don't know about you, but the weather here in Portugal has been, it's sort of thrust us into a late winter or a second winter, if you will. And there's been a lot of storms and a lot of rain and then sun, a lot of rainbows. It's just been incredibly erratic, the weather here. And I quite like it because I can relate. It feels very relatable. And my friend, actually, Maria, reminded me the other day that as quickly as the weather can change, so can the circumstances in our life. And I think it was a beautiful thing to be reminded of because it's true. And I don't know about you, but I have these dippy days, right? And on the dippy days, the old thought patterns come in and the old stories and the limiting beliefs. And it's great because I've done enough work now to recognize that's what's happening. And so not to give it too much power. But it's very alluring when we're pulled back down into these familiar thought patterns, isn't it? It's so alluring. There feels like so much validity to them. I don't know if it's just because we're familiar and comfortable with it. But yeah, so there are these moments sucked back down. And then for me, life becomes very overwhelming. I'm like, what am I, I keep having this question, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Now, on a good day, I know exactly what I'm doing with my life. But on these days, I'm like, what? I question everything and nothing feels certain or real or worthwhile. And anyone else relate to that? Because I feel like I'm not the only one in this energy. There's other people I'm talking to at the moment. Everyone's kind of like, what are we doing? I know, astrologically, without the details of it, if you're into that, find a good astrologer, because these months, March and April, there's a lot going on. And I think it's really nice. I think it's really good to be reminded of, we have free will, and then there are also huge balls of energy in the skies that also have an influence on the experience, the shared experience and individual. So I like to be reminded of that. Like Venus in retrograde, as one of you, thank you, reminded, all love and relationships are being pulled into question right now. And it's very helpful to know that. I've got friends who are in partnerships having a really tough time. It's like, yeah, Venus is in retrograde. If it wasn't this you were fighting about, it would be something else. It's coming up to be cleared. And it's great to know that, it takes the pressure off a little bit. I got a friend who's like, oh, I thought we had got through all this. And it's like, yeah, but this is inevitable. It's like a shared experience we're all going through at the moment. If you're not in a relationship, it's about loving yourself. It's the relationship with yourself. And just knowing that, I don't know, I'm like, okay, all right. Like when I have these days, it's like, all right, it's just a day. And there's been other moments where everything makes perfect sense. And I think like my sort of anchor at the moment is a constant reminder to be from the heart. Like, live from the heart, open the heart, and open up access from the intelligence of the heart. Okay, because yeah, we have intelligence here in the mind, but there's a massive intelligence in the heart that we all have all the time. That doesn't even need to be developed, so to speak, like the intelligence of the mind does, how we understand it, right? The intelligence of the heart is just there. The only thing we need to develop is our ability to open up and be in, have access to that. So that's kind of my thing at the moment, is just keep bringing energy into the heart. I also need to ground because I tend to have my energy in the upper part of my body. So ground it into the earth, open the heart, and live from there. My gosh, the intelligence of the heart. Oh my gosh. And my sister said a really beautiful thing the other day. She said, the mind tries to make sense of what the body already knows. The mind tries to make sense of what the body already knows. Oh, love that. It's like the intelligence of the body. You know, that is also something we can tune into and have access. And sure, the mind will try to make sense of it. But the body already knows. Imagine, the heart already knows. I love this heart living. It's when I like to do anything. For example, I join a raffle, okay? And the prize, I really want the prize. But when I buy that raffle ticket, you know, we're all taking part. There's not just me in the raffle, there's all of us in the raffle. And I really like to buy my raffle ticket with, sure, I have a personal desire to win the prize. But really, if I know my deep, deep desire whenever I get a wish or anything, I'm sort of praying, my soul, it's really for the benefit of all. That brings me happiness. Oh my gosh, it's just reminded me of something else. So anyway, when I buy a raffle ticket, I buy it with for the highest and best of all, meaning if it's for the highest and best of all for me to win, great. And if it's not, if it's for the highest and best of all for someone else to win, great. I would rather that outcome beyond my own personal desires. And I tell you what, living this way is so easy, because then if I don't win the raffle, I've sort of trust in myself that it was better that I didn't, you know? And with anything for the highest and best of all. So then if I have my personal, it takes me out of my personal desire and into a much deeper, like, interconnectedness of all, well, it wasn't for me, it was for someone else, and that serves us all. Oh. And the other thing that came up a minute ago that I will share is when I tap into my heart energy, when I'm in groups of people. So I tend to avoid large groups of people these days. Every now and again, I get the feeling I want to go party and dance all night long, but it's pretty rare. And I don't put myself into like large groups or large crowds very often because I have a sensitivity to energy and it can be a bit overwhelming. Not always, and I've learned ways to shield my energy more, seal the shield. That's what I do. I seal the shield. And the reason that I seal it is because sometimes there can be tiny little gaps where we're leaking energy or things are getting in. So I like to seal the shield, and that does help. But generally speaking, it doesn't bring me a lot. So I tend to just not put myself in those positions. But when I do, I've had these experiences in the past where I've managed to tap into my heart energy. And when I go in and like focus my energy into the heart, it seemingly, okay, this is my experience, it seemingly has an influence on the environment that I'm around and the people that I'm around. And somehow, if I can go into my heart, everyone is having a great time. It really is my experience. I'm like, I come out the mind, go into the heart, and suddenly, woo, people are cheering, people are laughing. It's so beautiful. Now, that I had paranoia for quite a few years because it would freak me out. It felt like I was in the Truman Show, or I had like all of this influence over the environment. And then I'd go into my mind and I'd get very scared. And then the external, the external environment then would reflect that, and it would get more mindy and less lovey. Difficult to explain, but I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, my friend said to me, Maria, that when I'm going into if I'm going into the heart and just being from there, and then my experience is then everyone around me is having a good time. She was like, that is so beautiful to hear, because what it shows me is that your heart's wish is that everyone's happy. And it really, really is. And that took away responsibility. Sometimes I feel responsible to be living from my heart when I'm in a group of people, because I think that it will improve their experience as well. And I have a lot of like experience from that. But then there's also confirmation bias, isn't there? Which is we have a belief and then our external environment reflects that belief back to us. So if anyone feels like they know what I'm on about, but I'm missing something or I'm coming at it from a slightly wrong angle or whatever, please help me. Okay, because I'm just figuring it out, and that's my experience. So yeah, for the highest and best of all. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you like the video, please do like it. Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you're completely new and you clicked on this and you like it for some reason, hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful life, and we got this.